United States Transportation Command, Fleet Master Chief Donald Myrick. Our component commanders, deputy commanders, and their senior enlisted leaders. All combatant command senior enlisted leaders. Our former U.S. Transcom senior enlisted leaders. And all general officers, flag officers, senior executive service personnel, directors, senior enlisted leaders, co-workers, friends, and family joining us both in person and online today. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of Ruffles and Flourishes, the singing of the national anthem, and the invocation.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say, does their star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Almighty and everlasting God, we give you all thanks and praise for granting us this opportunity to celebrate and commemorate the distinguished career of your servant, Chief Master Sergeant Jay France, this afternoon as he retires from the U.S. Air Force after 31 years of dedicated service to you and to our great nation. The strength of our nation is our armed forces. The strength of our armed forces is our military members. And the strength of our military members is our families. Lord God, we know that you have sustained your servant Jay with a gift that is far more precious and enduring than his many years of military service. And that is the gift of his family members who have encouraged and sustained Jay during his journey of faith as a U.S. Air Force senior non-commissioned officer. Jay has truly been blessed by his wife, Monica, and his two sons, Joseph and Justin. These family members have served as your instruments of grace to encourage and nurture Jay as he has devoted his life to them and to our nation. We also know, Lord God, that you have placed many military leaders along Jay's path during his many years of service to shape his development and performance as an exemplary U.S. Air Force non-commissioned officer. Heavenly Father, you also established Jay as your chosen instrument to bless and touch the lives of many military members from every branch of the armed forces and also civilian employees during the last 31 years. And we know that his impact as a humble servant leader will continue to positively impact the U.S. Armed Forces for many years to come. Indeed, Jay now proudly bears the title Airman for Life as he continues to serve his country by serving his community. We humbly pray that you would bestow upon your servant Jay a blessed and peaceful retirement, and that you would grant him many more years of happiness as a husband, father, and friend to so many others. And we pray all of these things in your most holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Airman Holloway and Chaplain Sedgwick. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. General Lyons, the floor is yours.
Well, this is indeed a great day to celebrate 31 years of awesome service to the United States Air Force and our Joint Force. Hey, Chief K. Wright, thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the ceremony. I know it means a lot to Jay, but it means a lot to us here at Transcom. And you're looking younger and even healthier than the last time I saw you in your uniform. So congratulations to you. For General Katulik and Fleet Myrick, and all our senior enlisted leaders, and I see some of our directors and senior leaders and executives here. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it very much. Before I go any further, I want to pause, if we could. Every time I hear Airman Holloway and I see the work of the great protocol and all the planning that went into this event, just absolutely awesome. So how about a round of applause for all the folks that worked so hard on this ceremony. Well, you know, this is always a bittersweet event, right? There's a tremendous sense of pride, of accomplishment, of completing 31 years, completing the race, so to speak, and very successfully, but also a sense of loss, which comes with leaving a profession that has filled the last 31 years with passion, love for country, and our Air Force and its great airmen. So, Jay, I've got a couple extra handkerchiefs in my pocket because it is the spring, and I know that allergy season is in full effect here in Illinois. Let me start with what I believe to be the most important parts of Jay France, and that's his awesome family, Monica, Joseph, and Justin. So they met in about midway through his career, and they're both assigned to the Expeditionary Center up at McGuire. She was clearly out of his league. There's no question about it. He'd be the first to tell you that. But what she told me is that you were very, very persistent. Apparently, his persistence paid off. Their first date was in an old diner outside the base that can be best described as very cultural experience, is the way it was described to me. They got married in 2002. Monica's large family, who I believe is on the net today, I hope so, they embraced Jay with open arms. Monica had left the Air Force to pursue a career in law enforcement, but that plan didn't work after the marriage, and he was off to Fort Bragg with JSOC, and post 9/11, you can just imagine the number of deployments. And Monica surprised him by returning to active duty to do her part after 9/11, and didn't bother to tell him until he redeployed back to home station. Joseph arrived in 2005, and then Justin 5 years later. Dual military, multiple deployments, 10, I think, between both of you guys. Multiple PCS moves, 9, I think, is what I remember. And if you want to make Jay smile, just ask him about the boys, his pride and his joy. They're straight-A students, they're athletic, motivated to do their best. I don't know where you guys get that from, but you're doing excellent. I'm so proud of you. So Joe and Justin, your dad has accomplished many things over his career of 31 years, but I guarantee you today, knowing him as I do, nothing surpasses the love that he has for you two and your mom. How about a round of applause for this great family here? I do want to, Monica, I don't know if your parents were able to plug in or not, but hopefully we have Diego and Miriam Romero plugged in from virtual, and we wish you all the best, and we thank you for your great support for this great family. So let me start, where do I start, right? So 31 years, career service. If you really want to know what Chief France did, you can read his bio. It'll tell you pretty much what he did. I want to talk a little bit about who Chief France is, why his journey is so impressive, and take some opportunity for all of us collectively to thank him for his awesome service. So what are the odds of a kid from Oak Harbor, Washington, would climb within 31 years to become one of the top enlisted leaders in the entire Joint Force? I asked Jay earlier if he had given much thought on graduation from high school, whether he'd be standing here today 31 years later. He laughed at me and said he was just trying to make it through the next hour. So let's just say Jay France didn't experience the Leave It to Beaver upbringing. That's a reference, by the way, for you younger folks that might not understand now. The chaplain probably understands what I'm talking about. Thank you, chaplain. But Leave It to Beaver, right? That was kind of a reference to a golly gee wholesome TV sitcom in the 50s and 60s of the perfect American family. So for you youngsters that may have no clue as what that is. In fact, Jay would describe his upbringing as, to quote him, less than optimal, with a single mom and little guidance and direction. He still, to this day, he told me, he shared it with you young men, has kept his high school grade transcript that depicts an overall GPA average of 1.73 with no A's and 6 F's. But he understood. He understood the value of hard work. He worked on farms, he worked construction, he worked in restaurants. And he understood the necessity of putting food on the table and clothes on his backs. Jay was self-parented, so to speak, in forging his own path. In high school, several of his buddies were Navy brats. He lived close by to Whidbey Island. And he decided to give the military a try. Life is filled with challenges and sometimes unfair. And people react differently to adversity. How you respond defines you. Some falter. Some, like Jay, use the adversity to drive them to success. For Jay, the Air Force provided a structured regimen, discipline, and life skills for success. His leaders described what right looked like and provided boundaries and goals for success. For the first time in Jay's life, he had direction and understanding of how to be part of a bigger team with a bigger purpose. So he joined the Air Force in 1990 as a security forces airman and a military working dog handler, later specializing in aircraft security as a Phoenix Raven. Like most of us, though, there were the ups and downs. Like the time he was just shortly detained by the Mexican police south of the border, or the time he found himself ineligible for reenlistment because of a recent evaluation. But here he is today, an extraordinarily successful story. Jay will be the first to tell you that his success is a result of leaders and partners and teammates who took the time to kick him in the butt, hold him accountable, and invest in him. Before he knew it, Jay was responsible for other airmen. What a wake-up call. Something happens. Something happens in the maturity process when you must answer to your subordinates that are counting on you for their success. And just when he thought he would master one job, the Air Force, in its infinite wisdom, would reassign him to greater responsibility. He was a flight sergeant, a squadron superintendent, a MAGCOM chief, and so much more. Whatever the job, he worked hard, he did his best, and he was open to learning new things. He was never satisfied with being average. He sought tough training and tough jobs. Jungle School, Airborne School, Jump Master, Master Blaster, Ranger School, assignments to Joint Special Operations Command, 9 combat deployments between 2001 and 2007, approximately 3 years deployed in combat environments. These jobs are renowned for selective admissions. They're renowned for physical and mental toughness. Jay learned early that we were not made for comfort. Great achievements require great efforts. And along the way, he worked hard to invest in those around him. We're fortunate to have thousands, tens of thousands of airmen who have benefited from Jay France, and his legacy will continue to shape the force through those airmen for decades to come. Because at the end of the day, leadership is about your impact on people. And when you ask others for reflections, and I know many of Jay's teammates are online, there's no shortage of exceptional commentary. They said things like top 1% of the 1%, no quit, no excuses, great friend and mentor, caring warrior, humble, decisive. They said he'd sacrifice all to help someone succeed. And they said iron sharpens iron, holding people accountable. So think about this for a minute. In a given cohort, 29,000 airmen enlist per year. Each year, roughly 100 senior master sergeants are promoted to chief. That works out to be far less, far better than the top 1%. Of the more than 10,000 E9s across the Joint Force, all services, there are only 11 COCOM senior enlisted leaders and 5 service senior enlisted leaders. So today we pause to thank Jay France for 31 years of outstanding service and thank the France family. He has made his mark on the Air Force for better. And although we will miss seeing him in uniform, he's ready for the transition. The Frances will remain here in Mascouda, and we're thankful for that. He's got a job lined up to mentor future senior military leaders, but not before embarking on a lifelong dream to hike the 2,653-mile Pacific crest from the border of Mexico to the border of Canada. And as I said the other day, you may all ask why, and Jay France is asking why not, because that's kind of the guy he is. So I'll close it up, folks, in my great gratitude here for a great leader and service. And I know that this audience knows that every service, and particularly the Air Force, commits themselves to what we call a creed, an airman's creed, a standard by which all Air Force airmen are expected to live. So Jay, I just want to paraphrase the creed in the context of what I know to be your career. You are a warrior leader. You have answered your nation's call honorably. You have lived the Air Force core values. You have guarded freedom and the American way of life. You have been an exceptional wingman, and for that I thank you. You have remained worthy of the public trust and earned the respect and admirations of Americans far and wide. You are and will remain an exceptional airman for life. So we wish you many blessings. We offer you our personal thanks for your great leadership and selfless service, and congratulations on an awesome career. How about a round of applause for Jay France?
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as General Lyons presents the Defense Superior Service Medal to Chief France and remain standing for the publishing of the retirement order. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of the Defense Superior Service Medal to Chief Master Sergeant Jason L. France. Chief Master Sergeant Jason L. France, United States Air Force, distinguished himself by exceptionally superior service as Command Senior Enlisted Leader, United States Transportation Command, Scott Air Force Base, Illinois, from November 2018 to March 2021. During this period, Chief France's strategic perspective and influential leadership positively impacted the national security of the United States. He served as an invaluable advisor to multiple strategic leaders, service components, and subordinate commands, ensuring clear understanding of the command's mission, warfighting framework, and priorities. Moreover, he fostered a culture of warfighting readiness, bias for action, future focus, and collaboration from the headquarters down to the tactical units. Chief France's leadership was vital to the command's rapid response to the coronavirus disease 2019 global pandemic, working tirelessly with his combatant command and service counterparts to project and sustain response forces around the globe, protect the force, and support the whole of government's response efforts. He advocated for the reform of the Defense Personal Property Program, serving as the voice of 2.1 million service members and their families, directly contributing to improvements in quality moving and storage services that were decades overdue. Chief France held a summit for 27 senior enlisted leaders serving in strategic positions across the joint force, focusing on integration, collaboration, and unified effort in conducting globally integrated operations. Finally, he hosted senior enlisted leader panels at the 2019 and 2020 National Defense Transportation Association fall meetings, addressing strategic challenges facing the joint force to over 3,000 attendees. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Chief Master Sergeant France culminate a long and distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself, the United States Air Force, United States Transportation Command, and the Department of Defense. Please remain standing for the publishing of the retirement order. Attention to orders. Special order number AC-017501, Chief Master Sergeant Jason L. France, effective 30 June 2021, you are relieved from active duty. United States Transportation Command, Scott Air Force Base, Illinois, retired effective 1 July 2021 per Air Force Instruction 36-3203 in the grade of Chief Master Sergeant by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, Chief France will be presented his certificate of retirement. The certificate reads, "To all who shall see these presents greeting. This is to certify that Chief Master Sergeant Jason L. France, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on 1 July 2021. Signed, Charles Q. Brown, General, United States Air Force, Chief of Staff." General Lyons will now present Chief France with a certificate of appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. Chief France is also being presented a letter of appreciation from General Lyons. Mrs. France, will you please join your husband? Every successful military member knows and understands the value of the contributions of his or her family to the member's career, especially the efforts of the spouse. General Lyons will now present Mrs. Monica France with a certificate of appreciation, which reads, "Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Air Force. In grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents this certificate of recognition to Monica France for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impacts to the nation's defense. Thank you for the support which gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service. Signed, Charles Q. Brown, United States Air Force, Chief of Staff. General Lyons will now present Mrs. France with a certificate of appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. Mrs. France is also being presented a letter of appreciation from General Lyons. General Lyons will now present letters of appreciation to the France children. Joseph and Justin, please join us on stage. Dear Joseph and Justin, please accept my sincere appreciation for supporting your father throughout his United States Air Force career. We are grateful for Chief Master Sergeant France's dedicated service to our nation. The strength of our nation is our armed forces. The strength of our armed forces is our service members, and the strength of our service members is our military families. I recognize that being the child of a military parent puts added responsibility on a young person. Thank you for your support to our nation's security. My sincere congratulations to you for rising to the challenge. Sincerely, Stephen R. Lyons, General, United States Army. Thank you, General Lyons. Every retiree receives a special retirement pin as a memento of his or her active duty service. At this time, we'd like to ask Mrs. France to place this pin on Chief France's lapel to symbolize his transition from active duty to retired status. This pin stands as a testament of his service to our great nation. To all who see it, know that Chief Master Sergeant Jason France has met all challenges set before him and has served our country with pride, honor, and dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, the France family will now make a special presentation to Chief France.
Hello, my name is Joseph France, and as you may know, I'm Chief France's son. From a young age, when I would hear the word hero, I would instantly picture superheroes from the movies, such as The Flash, who was my personal favorite. Although, over time while growing up and gaining a better understanding of the things that are happening around me, I think of someone else when hearing the word hero. I instantly think of my dad, Jason France. The amount of sacrifices that he has made and accomplishments that he has achieved are just unimaginable. I'll take this off. It's hard to breathe. Starting at a young age with little guidance and support, he has worked his way up and done many things that others could not have. He went from being an independent child in a small town in Washington, working on farms, to being a senior leader in the U.S. Transportation Command and a role model for many people. He did all of this by having a strong sense of independence and drive. His work ethic and determination has always inspired me. He's raised my brother and I, teaching us that anything is possible, but he but he never left out the idea that we may struggle sometimes. He has taught us to face our problems head on and look at them as an opportunity to better ourselves rather than something to break down about. Mom, Justin, and I, including the whole Air Force family, thank you for everything you've done. Nothing you do goes unnoticed, and your contributions will forever be appreciated. Thank you for being an amazing airman, ranger, leader, and most importantly, an amazing father. We love you, Dad, and we wish you the best of luck on your hike, also known as Operation Wilderness.
Should I go? Okay. All right. I just want to say, Dad, that I'm very proud of you. You have served in the military for about 31 years. That's a lot of work. Most of the work you've done helped people's lives, and when I say you've helped, I mean you helped in a fantastic way. I also want to say that I loved you. You have supported and helped me through my 11 years of life. I'm thankful every second that you're here with me. Although you're going on a 6-month hike, just remember that I'll love you forever.
So on behalf of our family club, we wanted to present you with this little keepsake box. It's a combination of from when you came into the service all the way up to now, and your accomplishments, and the keepsake box just put in things that are important to you, and I know you have things.
Yeah.
And then
Can I put you guys in it? I think it's a little too small for that, but thank you so much, babe.
not fair that I have to talk right now. Thank you, Mrs. France, Joseph, and Justin. At this time, we will retire Chief France's Security Forces badge, which is displayed in his shadow box. The certificate reads, during his entire career, Chief Master Sgt. France held allegiance to his country, devotion to duty, and personal integrity above all. He wore the badge of authority with dignity and restraint, and promoted by example, high standards of conduct, appearance, courtesy, and performance. He sought no favors because of his position. He performed his duties in a firm, courteous, and impartial manner, irrespective of a person's color, race, religion, national origin, or sex. Chief Master Sgt. France gained the respect of his fellow airmen with whom he came in contact. As witnessed by the gathering of friends, relatives, and coworkers, this Security Forces badge number, 60577, is retired from the United States Air Force, effective 1 July 2021. Signed, Roy W. Collins, Brigadier General, United States Air Force, Director of Security Forces, DCS Logistics, Engineering, and Force Protection. We will now retire Chief France's Raven number. Senior Master Sergeant Scott Benford, will you please come to the podium?
I'm going to take this off. I'm vaccinated, don't worry. Did you take the script with you? Did you take the script with you? No. Come on. I didn't have it memorized. All right. Cool. During Chief Master Sergeant Jason France's career, he respected all cultures who he came in contact with and endured the professional conduct of others as representatives of the United States Air Force. He achieved the best results under any and all circumstances through honest endeavor and persistent effort. He volunteered to stand at the forefront of force protection in the defense of deployed assets and personnel for which he was responsible to protect. He endured the physical hardships of austere environments while maintaining the mental tenacity to complete the Raven mission. Chief Master Sergeant France never compromised his position as a Raven, his professional conduct, moral standards, or intestinal fortitude. In honor of Chief Master Sergeant Francis' superb dedication, Raven number 82 is officially retired from the United States Air Force effective 1 April 2021. Signed, Scott T. Benford Jr., Senior Master Sergeant, United States Air Force, Raven number 1632, Manager, Phoenix Raven Program, Headquarters Air Mobility Command. And Douglas W. Whitehead, Colonel, United States Air Force, Chief Security Forces, Headquarters Air Mobility Command.
Thank you, Sergeant Benford. Chief France has also received a United States Air Force Security Forces Certificate of Appreciation. We now welcome Major General Deb Katulich, Chief of Staff, United States Transportation Command, to the stage to make a special presentation to Chief France.
Chief, it's an absolute honor to be able to say a few words. On behalf of the men and women of the headquarters, you have absolutely served with honor and integrity. Your personal example has inspired so many. We thank you for a life of dedicated service to the nation. On behalf of the men and women, I want to give you this lithograph so you will always remember us.
Thank you, General Katulich. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Master Sergeant Brian Kruzelnik, Command Chief Master Sergeant, Air Mobility Command, will now make a special presentation to Chief France.
Do I have to stand right here? Can people hear me? I got. Okay. All right, brother. This day's finally here. So just come over here by me. This day is finally here, and to put it in perspective, more than half of your life and all of your lives, you have served this nation. And you have done that for people within this nation, our allies and partners, and for people that you're never, ever going to meet. So on behalf of all those people that can't walk up these stairs and look you in the eye and shake your hand and say thank you, I do on behalf of them. You know, we can say a lot of things about Chief J. France, and most of them are pretty positive, but I can say a lot positive, actually. As an airman, I can say there's no more respected chief in the United States Air Force than you. I can think that you all would tell me there's no more respected joint leader than Chief J. France. You could tell me there's no better husband, and you could tell me there's no better father, and we'll all be correct. And I can tell you quite honestly, we all can say there's no better human than you. You know, as I think about your leadership, I think of a quote from President John Quincy Adams, who he said, "If your actions inspire others to do more, to dream more, to learn more, to become more, then you are a leader." Now, that's only 19 words. Trust me, you don't have to count that. But you epitomize every one of those. So on behalf of Air Mobility Command, General Van Ovos, the Air Mobility Command Commander, for now, my best friend and my wingman, we'd like to offer you this small box. But wait, there's more. There's a AMC globe on the top. But wait, there's more. There's 2 coins in there, the generals and myself. And then this is called a compass before GPS. And it kind of points to magnetic north. And we just had a small inscription. It says, "Brother, you're always pointed us in the right direction. May your AMC family return the favor." So I'd like to offer you all this. And nothing but the love from our team to yours. My brother.
Thank you, Chief Kruzelnik. Next, Command Sergeant Major McGuire will make a special presentation to Chief France on behalf of the Joint Enabling Capabilities Command.
You're not going to hit me with that, are you, brother? No, I'm not, but I did
do expect you to carry that with you on your walk.
Okay.
Coming up.
Ounces equal pounds, brother. Pounds equals pain.
And I know I didn't have a lot of time face-to-face with you, but I just wanted to say we appreciate what you've done for the Joint Enabling Capabilities Command. So wish you the best of luck. And from someone who's not that far behind you, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you, brother. Use one of these too. Really appreciate it. Cool. Beautiful.
It's really not that big, so.
Yeah.
Thank you, Command Sergeant Major McGuire. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Master Sergeants Kendrick Henry and Felicia Young will now make a special presentation to Chief France on behalf of the Chiefs Group.
Just looking all like serious and stuff. It's not a funeral, it's just a retirement.
Chief, it's a great day to celebrate with you and your family. We can't put into words for what we want to say, to thank you for your unwavering support to Team Scott and DOD and our airmen and the entire enlisted corps during your time here. From being the keynote speaker to an airman's panel, all the way to being addressing Chief Master Sergeants, telling them that the work has just begun. And we can't thank you enough for that. So on behalf of the 123 chiefs here at Scott, across the active duty, Air National Guard, and the Reserve, we want to present you with this chief sculpture. And this is a chief at the edge of a cliff. And basically what it means is that although you're spreading your wings and getting ready to fly away and transition from your military career to the civilian, you take with you the tenets of leadership, selfless service, and mentoring as a civilian. Because once you're a chief, you'll always be a chief. Again, sir, thank you. Congratulations on your retirement. You've been a leader of leaders, a chief of chiefs, and also a defender giant that we will always cherish. Thank you.
We get a group photo with everybody?
Thank you, Chief Henry and Chief Young. Next, Chief Master Sergeant Jason Rather and Chief Young will make a special presentation to Chief France on behalf of the U.S. Transcom Directorates.
Chief, it's my honor and Chief Young's honor to be up here and to make a presentation on behalf of the men and women across United States Transportation Command and your 31 years of service. First and foremost, your leadership to the team and the staff is witnessed every day, and we sure appreciate that. So we came together and did something a little bit different for you, and all the directors and the men and women across the United States Transportation Command made contributions to the Air Force Aid Society, all in your name. And those contributions totaled more than $700 to go to helping airmen's causes. So I do want to note, he is going on a little bit of a hike here, a little short hike here shortly. What we hope is none of that money goes to help you along the way. We hope you get there safely. Chief Wright, if you don't mind making sure that happens. We sure appreciate it. But on behalf of the men and women of United States Transportation Command, thank you very much for all you've done for us in your leadership.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for contributing to such a valuable and important charity there. That is so awesome. I'm glad we can have our Chief Minister on the Air Force Number 18 who can run the show here now.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. We have our certificate. We'll put it back over here.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Chief Rather and Chief Young. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Young will now present Chief France with his shadow box. On behalf of your many friends, we wish to present you a shadow box, which culminates a military member's career and closes what is known as the military member's most honored and cherished possession, the United States flag, the flag which you have so proudly served and so honorably defended. The flag which we honor and serve under is the true emblem of our unity, our thoughts, our power, and purpose as a nation. Accept it, protect it, guard it, and ever remember that the young men and women you have trained, guided, and inspired will follow in your footsteps and defend it with equal pride. On this occasion, we consider we have lost a true leader while society has gained a fine citizen. Chief Master Sgt. France, good luck and Godspeed. Thank you, Chief Young. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce for the very first time Chief Master Sergeant Jason France, United States Air Force, retired.
Wow. Thank you so much, everybody. This is awesome. A little overwhelming, I'll be honest with you, but awesome. All right. I made it through Airman Holloway's amazing rendition of the national anthem. It always gets me when she's up here on stage or the national anthem is sung. So, all right. So, wow, here we are. On April Fool's Day, I might add. But this wasn't a trick. I'm actually retiring. Don, you're safe, brother. The job is yours. Thank you all so very much for joining me and my family today for this ceremony. It means the world to us that you were able to make it. For those of you joining us virtually, I look forward to the day where I can look you in the eye, shake your hand, and say thank you for all that you have done for me and my family. Thank you so much. For those that traveled into this, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, number 18, Colonel Springer, Chief Green, Chief Wilfong, Command Sergeant Major McGuire, I'm honored and humbled that you would take the time away from your jobs and your family to travel out here to see this right now. So thank you so much. Got to give a special shout out to Ken McQuiston, the very first Transcom Senior Enlisted Leader. Brother, it means a lot to me that you are here as well. Thank you so much. And to everyone local, thanks for the patience and flexibility as we've had to make a lot of changes to this ceremony to accommodate COVID guidelines and restrictions. So wow, 31 years has flown by. And it's hard to believe that I'm standing here at my retirement ceremony. I've been to a lot of these, and I'm sure you all have as well, but I'll tell you what, it is different when it's yours. Lots of emotions and memories all coming together for me right now, but all great. I will be walking off of the stage today with my heart full and my head held high because of all of you. Those who know me best know I like to talk, so I'm going to stick with the script to keep me focused and prevent us from being here all night. I know it's been a long one, and I appreciate everyone holding on for just a little bit longer. I want to start with a sincere thank you to everyone who put this together. The planning team, protocol, public affairs, A1C Holloway, Chaplain Sedgwick, Master Sergeant Henry, Senior Master Sergeant Select Henry, and the proffers, the club staff, and everyone else who had a hand in this. You nailed it. This is absolutely perfect, and I thank you. General Lyons, thank you for officiating my retirement ceremony. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve as your Command Senior Enlisted Leader. It has been the honor of a lifetime to serve with you, and I am so glad that I get to finish my career here with this Transcom family, so thank you. Thank you for the trust and faith you put in our enlisted force, and for the trust and faith you put in me. That also means a lot. The bond we've made, the friendship we've built, the example we have set for others is how a relationship between a commander and a senior enlisted should be. This is an example of what right looks like. You allowing me to have a voice and a seat next to you at the table has made a difference. Not only to me, but to the men and women of Transcom, across the Department of Defense, and even for our allies and partners. Bottom line, the value you placed in the enlisted force has been felt around the world, and I thank you for that. And thank you for the warm welcome that you and Maureen provided my family and I when we got here, the great times we've had together as families, and for always being there for us when we needed it. That meant so much to us, so thank you as well, Maureen. And I'd also like to say thanks in advance to the airmen that will be conducting the passing of my flag today, which you guys will see shortly. They are a perfect representation of my Air Force family and for what I love most about our Air Force. A group of airmen from different backgrounds, different cultures, different experiences, all with unique stories coming together to do great things. And I'm excited for you to see them here shortly. That flag that they're going to pass is very special to me, and it has been with me for many years. I bought it right after 9/11, and it has been with me on 7 deployments and lots of other trips around the world. It's got a lot of jumps, some re-enlistments, and been with me on many other incredible experiences throughout my career. It's been flown on every base I've been assigned over my career as well, except Howard Air Force Base in Panama, which is now closed. But Sergeant Major Brian Zickafoose, United States Marine Corps retired, the previous Southern Command Senior Enlisted Leader, had it flown over the American Embassy in Panama for me. Brian, I know you and Tosh are on the net today. Thank you so much, brother. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for taking care of me with that flag. It really means a lot. The line it will be passed to today, or through today, will add the perfect memory as that flag goes into the shadow box that you saw earlier today. Thank you all again for that. Now, when I was reflecting on and gathering my thoughts about what I should say today, I was looking at the names of the people who are attending and even looking at the faces of the folks that are in the crowd today. There are just so many memories of the experiences that we shared, and I really wish I could go over every single one of those, but I'm not going to do that to you today. Each and every one of you have made such a difference in my life. Also, as I reflected, I kept coming back to the 3 things that so many people have asked me since I made the decision to retire. What will I miss the most? What was my greatest accomplishment? And when did I know it was time? Those 3 questions are going to help me navigate through the next couple minutes here. First, without a doubt, the people is what I will miss. It's you. It's this right here. We've shared great times and hard times. We've worked together on some amazing things for the people we serve. We've challenged each other and helped each other grow, develop, mature, become better leaders, better husbands, better wives, better parents, better people. We've shared life experiences, weddings, new houses, new babies, graduations, holidays, promotions, and demotions for some of y'all, but that's okay. Major achievements, both personal and professional, as well as new opportunities and assignments. We've solved the problems of the world together over beers and probably come very close to creating some new problems over beers as well. We've celebrated some of the greatest moments of our lives, and we've leaned on each other during the most challenging times as well, when we've mourned the loss of family members, teammates, and friends. And we did all these things together as a family. You were always there for me and my family, and we were always there for you and yours. I appreciate every one of those moments, and I would do it all over again in a second. You all deserve much more than this, but what I want to say to you today is thank you. Thank you for giving me the gift of your trust and for trusting in me. Thank you for giving me the gift of your friendship and for accepting mine. Thank you for being a part of my life and allowing me to be a part of yours. Thank you for being there for me when I needed it the most, and thank you for reaching out to me when you needed someone. Thank you for believing in me, even when I wasn't all that sure of myself. Thank you for those 5-minute conversations. Some of those conversations were absolutely life-changing for me. Thank you for investing in me, for the opportunities you gave me, and for holding me accountable. And thank you for all of the things that you all did for me that I'll never even know about. I know you put an incredible amount of work into me, and I would not be standing here today without you, so thanks. So moving on, and here comes the hard part. What was my greatest accomplishment? My greatest accomplishment in the military was not about promotions, positions, or awards. It really had nothing to do with this. Yes, it's been an honor to wear these stripes and to serve in positions where I was able to help the men and women I had the privilege of serving as a chief. I'm proud of everything, big and small, that I've been able to help people with. But my greatest accomplishment overall is sitting right there in the front row. My wife and sons here with me today. They inspire me. They give me purpose in serving this great nation. They are my world. Monica, my love, my forever, the rock of our family, 21 years together, all the moves that General Lyons talked about, 9 deployments between us, a whole lot of schools, and too many TDYs to even count. Thank you for your love and understanding, your strength and patience, a lot of patience, for always being there for me and being everything I could ever wish for in a wife. You amaze me every day. I appreciate all that you do for us, the big things and the small things. Thank you so much, babe. I love you. Joseph and Justin, I'm so proud of you both, and I'm so proud to be your dad. You are both incredible young men, and you impress me every day with the things that you do. At home, at school, and in everything you set your mind and heart to. You have done so well with all the moves, the new places, new schools, leaving friends, making new friends. And with those moves have come challenges, but you've always made the best, and I know you are both better for those experiences. I can't wait to see what the future holds for you guys. I love you. If I could get I'd like to pass on a couple presentations. So for my wife first. My love. And for my sons, Justin and Joseph. All right, guys, so I had these flags. You know the value and purpose behind our flag and how dear I hold it. I had those flags flown over every single base that you have been signed. You've been with us where you were born at Fort Bragg and where you were born at Nellis Air Force Base. So those flags have been flown over all of the places we live, and I flew them back on March 10th, right before you guys showed up. So every place we get those flags are flown over, and I'll keep that back. All right. Also got to make a special mention for Diego and Miriam. Thank you so much for allowing me to, one, marry your daughter. Babe, thanks so much for not dumping me after that date at the shady place. I have to add a little bit of context to what General Lyons said. So this is the place, it's called the Browns Mills Diner. It's no longer open. It's right outside the back gate of Fort Dix. Horrible place. And one time I went there and the waitress gave me a straw, and typically I don't like straws. And she gave me a straw, and I was like, well, I don't need this. She's like, I think you should use it because the glasses are dirty. I'm like, okay. I really wasn't quite understanding what she was getting at because the content of the glass actually would touch the sides too. But that's the kind of classy guy that I am, and brought you there. So thanks for not dumping me after that. But love you, babe. All right. And finally, when did I know it was time? Now, I can't tell you the exact moment when I realized it was the right time to retire, but I can tell you how I know it's the right time to retire. And the best way I can do that is to capture a few things that have occurred over the past couple weeks where it's really come together for me. So 2 weekends ago, I was walking on the path that goes around the base housing area, training for my upcoming hike. And right as I turned the corner, when I was able to see the flight line, I saw the C-40 taxiing out as General Lyons and the team were headed on an overseas trip. Now, my first thought was I should be on that plane with my boss, going to see the great people of the United States Transportation Command doing great things on the other side of the world. I'll be honest, that got to me a little bit. That caused me to pause. Now, I stopped for a few minutes and watched that plane take off, and I'll tell you, it was the weirdest feeling, thinking I should be there. And at that exact moment, I was standing there, I got a message from Colonel Ruger Davis, J3 from the Joint Enabling Capabilities Command, used to work in the J3 here, and a previous commander of the 421st Ground Combat Readiness Squadron, which I'm a part of. And part of his message was about my transition and being able to spend more time with my family. And he was exactly right. So what I got to do, because I wasn't on that trip, was the next day celebrate my wife's birthday. We all went downtown to the Saks Butterfly House and had a great time. That was exactly where I needed to be. And then later that week, I picked up my son Joseph from track practice and got to share in his excitement when he broke yet another personal record that day. And he's probably going to break some Mascoutah High School track records this year. He's 1/10 of a second off of breaking one of those records as a sophomore. Really proud of you, bud. I also got to see Justin bring home another award for straight A's to add to his other awards for his grades, honor roll, and being Student of the Month twice in the past year. Then last Thursday, I had the honor of speaking at the Airman Leadership School graduation here on Scott Air Force Base. And I got to see how awesome the Air Force's newest first-line supervisors are. Our young airmen are in great hands. And what made it even better was when Senior Airman Kelsey Osell from our J2 won both the Academic Achievement Award and the Commandant Award. Now, I know those awards meant a lot to her, but they certainly meant a lot to me as well, and I was glad I got the opportunity to be there. Then on Friday, I attended a promotion ceremony and got to watch Eric Von Holt, which is the chief in the line over there, from our J6 Pin-on Chief. Eric, you're going to do incredible things for our airmen as a chief. Congratulations again. Now, it felt great to be at that ceremony, but it was also clear to me at that time that it's the right time to get out of the way so the new generation of chiefs like Eric can bring new ideas and fresh perspectives and make our Air Force and the Joint Force better. And then finally, 2 days ago, we had a change of responsibility, and now Fleet Master Chief Don Myrick, the first Navy Senior Enlisted Leader of United States Transportation Command, has the watch. Again, a new leader, new ideas, great things ahead for the command, and the right time for me to move on. And one last piece before I close today. I know he's standing there looking all sharp, standing at parade rest right now. I would like Airman Hunt to join me on the stage. I'm going to put on my mask so you're safe. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Airman Wyatt Hunt. He's an air traffic control specialist, and he's from Dallas, Texas. And yes, he's a Cowboys fan. I'm not sure if you're a bigger fan than that man right there, though. But you guys can talk about that later. He's been in the Air Force. Yeah, why did only one person clap? Okay, 2. 3. He's been in the Air Force just over 7 months, and he is one of the youngest airmen here on Scott Air Force Base. This is the future of our Air Force right here. And it feels great to know that airmen like you will keep the Air Force moving forward after I move on. Well, I'll tell you what, brother. I don't know how long your Air Force journey is going to last, but I know it's going to be a great one. Whether that's 4 years, whether that's 30, whether you choose to do whatever path this Air Force takes you, I know it's going to be an awesome ride. I'm a little bit jealous, too, because you're just starting as I get to step away. So I personally flew this flag for you over Scott Air Force Base on the 10th of March. I would like for you to hold on to this and take it with you as your journey goes on. And like I said, wherever that journey takes you, it's going to be an awesome ride, young man. And I'm so glad that we have airmen like you keeping this Air Force moving forward. Thank you, sir. Give that to you. And with that, I will close. Thank you all again so much for spending this time with my family and I. This is so special to us. I wish you and your families all the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations, Chief France. Now, using Chief's personal flag, let us take a trip down Chief France's 31-year career. Please note that while our story starts with his time as an Airman Basic, we do not currently have any Airman Basics on base. Therefore, our fearless airmen will represent both the Airman Basic and Airman ranks. In February 1990, he said goodbye to his family in his red and white 1969 Volkswagen van, and he and his mullet reported to basic military training at Lackland Air Force Base, Texas. Upon graduation, he stayed at Lackland Air Force Base for security police and military working dog handler schools. He finished his technical training at Fort Dix, New Jersey, when he graduated from the Air Base Ground Defense Level 1 course. In August 1990, Airman Basic France was promoted to the rank of airman while still in technical training. After graduation, he reported to Laughlin Air Force Base in Del Rio, Texas, where he was assigned to the 47th Security Police Squadron as a military working dog handler. He was off to a rocky start in the Air Force, earning a 4 on his first enlisted performance report and once fearing for his life during a ride from his first sergeant after he picked him up in Mexico early one Sunday morning. After that incident, Airman France took the opportunity to get it together and get on the right track. He was promoted to the rank of Airman First Class in June of 1991. He continued to work as a military working dog handler and continued to grow as a young defender and an airman. In November 1991, Airman First Class France was reassigned to the 51st Security Police Squadron at Osan Air Base, Korea. Here, he was able to learn and demonstrate his skills in air-based defense through a year of challenging training, exercises, and work, constantly preparing for potential conflict with North Korea. While still at Osan, he was promoted below the zone to senior airman, and in November of 1992 was reassigned to the 24th Security Police Squadron at Howard Air Force Base, Panama. Here, he spent 2 years patrolling the jungle surrounding the base, preventing intruders from entering, and also worked with United States Customs using his narcotics detector dog to prevent illegal drugs from entering the United States. In 1994, he was reassigned to the 314th Security Forces Squadron at Little Rock Air Force Base, Arkansas. There, he deployed to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, in support of Cuban refugee crisis. Senior Airman France was promoted to Staff Sergeant in 1996, while still assigned to Little Rock. He deployed twice to Southwest Asia with his explosive detector dog and performed numerous canine support missions for the United States Secret Service and Department of State, ensuring the protections of President Bill Clinton, Russian President Boris Yeltsin, French President Jacques Chirac, and British Prime Minister Tony Blair. In 1998, he was selected for an assignment as an instructor at the 421st Ground Combat Training Squadron at Fort Dix, New Jersey. He taught several courses there, including military working dog operations and the Phoenix Raven qualification course. Following the events of September 11, 2001, Staff Sergeant France deployed to Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan as the security coordinator for a tanker airlift control element and Army liaison to the 10th Mountain Division. Also, and most importantly, while assigned to Fort Dix, he met the love of his life, Monica. In June of 2002, he was promoted to technical sergeant. He and Monica were married, and he was selected for an assignment to Joint Special Operations Command at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. During his time at Fort Bragg, he deployed to Iraq once and to Afghanistan 3 times in support of Joint Special Operations Task Forces. Also, while at Fort Bragg, Monica returned to active duty after serving 2 years in the Air Force Reserve, and their son Joseph was born. He was promoted to Master Sergeant in July of 2005 while still assigned to Joint Special Operations Command, and after his final deployment with the command, the France family relocated to Valdosta, Georgia. Master Sergeant France was assigned to the 822nd Security Forces Squadron and deployed to Iraq twice with the 8 Double Deuce. He was promoted to Senior Master Sergeant in July of 2009 while still at Moody Air Force Base, and was reassigned to the 820th Security Forces Group as the Operations Superintendent. Later that same year, he was selected for an assignment as a Security Forces Manager at a classified location supporting a presidentially directed program. Also later that year, their second son Justin was born, and the France family was complete. In November of 2011, Senior Master Sergeant France was promoted to Chief Master Sergeant. While serving almost 10 years and in 6 assignments as a chief, he has served and cared for people at all levels in the Department of Defense. From tactical to strategic, always demonstrating that the stripes of a Chief Master Sergeant actually belong to the people they serve. Chiefs just get to wear them for a while. Chief Master Sergeant France, thank you for the example you have set as an airman, a husband, and a father. Thank you for your friendship and for paving the way for those of us behind you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Air Force song and remain standing for the departure of the official party. You want me to conclude? Thank you so much. You're so welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please join us for a receiving line in front of the stage and a reception afterward. Thank you for attending and have a pleasant day.
When I was selected to come to be the Senior Enlisted Leader for United States Transportation Command, it caused me to reflect on all of those things that I believe built me and got me here. I was on the receiving end of the Transcom business. I earned a great appreciation for what it is that we do for our nation and around the globe. And what a great honor to come and finish a career here at United States Transportation Command. So I was absolutely excited about the opportunity. I was born and raised in Oak Harbor, Washington, and there wasn't a whole lot really going on in the hometown. And so I was excited to see what else the world had to offer, and the military was the way to do that. So I knew immediately when I showed up to basic training that this was the lifestyle for me. I adapted very well to basic military training and actually enjoyed the experience. So my first assignment was to the 47th Security Police Squadron in Laughlin Air Force Base, and that's in Del Rio, Texas. I was a military working dog handler, and during my entire time there, I was the lowest ranking airman. So I learned a great deal about listening, about paying attention, and spent the majority of my time learning my skills as a then security policeman, and really enjoyed my time there. It was a good place to start a career. I had the opportunity to teach at the Air Force Expeditionary Center, and that was just an amazing opportunity. From there, I had the opportunity to work in another combatant command as a customer or a user of United States Transportation Command. I would tell anyone of any service to come here being the very best that you are at your particular skill in your particular service. Come here with an open mind and adapt to the way we have to operate here and the incredible things we do